Hey, my medical coding family, how's everybody doing? Good to see you guys. Happy Monday. How's everybody doing? Let's see, make sure everybody can hear me and see the screen. I think you guys can hear me. Hey guys, y'all just tap in chat and let me know that you guys can hear me. If you guys can see and hear my screen, that would be helpful. Let's see if I can get chat. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I can hear myself. That's cool. Okay. So it is recording there. Awesome. Hey, Bluey. Good to see you. Oh, I helped you pass your certification exam. Mike Rajan, I probably didn't see it. Thank you so much for coming in to say that I helped you with your certification exam. That is so awesome. Congratulations. I'm so proud and so happy for you. Fantastic. Hey Sam, how you doing? Hey Carmel. Yes, on Halloween. Awesome. Congratulations. That's awesome. That's fantastic. I know that's one less worry off your shoulders. Fantastic. Let's see if I can get this better for TikTok. There we go. Sorta. I am streaming also on YouTube. So there might be a better view on YouTube because it's direct, but sorta, kinda. you know, I'm like, I can get it in between both ways, either too far one way or too far another way. There we go. Then, thanks for becoming and having a gifter badge. That's awesome. Hey, niece. I'm currently in the course and will be done next month. Congratulations. YouTube has member mode only on. Okay, let me fix that. Let me see. Let me see what I can do. If I can figure out how to fix that. No, I don't want to do a survey right now, Mr. YouTube. No. Let's see. That doesn't help. No, I don't want to insert an ad. Y'all, I had a meeting today with Pocket Prep. They love you guys and want to have some giveaways coming up soon. So I'll know some more information as soon as he sends me an email. I don't know what Ollie was saying, but he said a bunch of stuff and pretty cool. So I'm excited. Maybe we'll have some giveaways for Pocket Prep pretty soon. Edit. Can I edit here? Let's see. It says public education. I don't want it under ICD-10 book prep though. We're going to switch that and then save that. And then audience, not for kids. Now be sure and tell me in chat where y'all are typing from and when you plan on taking your certification exam. Comments on modernization, none. I don't know how to change it. Engage with your audience, top fans. Reactions are on. Participants. Bluey, Samantha. Yeah, for Pocket Prep, Samantha. Every so often, every 6 months or so, they reach out to me and let me know that they're fixing to have some new updates or things are happening, when they're going to come out with new updates to their questions or anything like that. And they have some cool stuff coming up. I think for Black Friday deals, right? Where you guys will get like 20% off and then some free stuff or something or another. So I'm excited. I can set a goal. I do not know how to set this to where it's only concurrent viewers, chat rate, views, edit. I don't know how to change it. Under settings, it just wants me to add more advertisements. It says send back. That's not helpful. I don't know. It says it's public. It's the privacy is off and it's open to the public. I don't know. I don't know what I've done. I wished I knew, guys. I'm sorry. Yep, I was just mailing off some of their swag that I got in earlier in the year. They sent us some peppermints in little containers, and you know those things that hang you up from, like if you're mountain climbing. I don't know what those little hooky things are, but they had one of those too that was from Pocket Prep, and I just put them in the mail today. Send them out to somebody. Don't be surprised. Also, my top um, people who purchase like the most stuff from me during the year or whatever, you'll get like my mom writes y'all Christmas cards, and we do random picks out of purchases, people that purchase anything from me, and we send out, Starbucks gift cards or other things during the holiday season. I have my mom write out all the cards. She's really good at it. She's got really great handwriting. So don't be surprised if you guys see some of that in the mail coming up soon. But back to our practice question for today that I have up. Anybody know what the 4 C's are for the bladder? November 20th, 16 days and 14 hours. Bluey's counted down. Carabiners, that's it. Yep, they had some that were labeled with pocket prep logo on them. Yeah, I just put one in the mail. This one is not D, I don't think, guys. There was quite a few of you guys who were answering. And I think you guys said D. If it's not D, what do you guys think is the answer? Quite a few D's. It's not A either. Not D. It's not A. Hey, Jen, I passed my CPC, but now I want to go for inpatient certification. Should I go through aapc or ahima? Do you do inpatient classes? Yvette, that's congratulations. That's awesome. I love that for you. I continue to love AAPC when I do certification exam attempts simply because you get 2 attempts for the price of 1, right? Ahima, it's $399 per attempt, where AAPC you pay $499 and you get 2 attempts. So if I was switching over to inpatient coding, I'd love to see what the certification exam is. Schedule it right away, see if you pass it. If you don't, at least you know from that point of view, after your first attempt, how to study, right? Because you've seen the exam and you know how to take it, and then you could take it. So, you know, CCS, though, is multiple choice, except for the last 10 questions are fill in the blank. Or not fill in the blank, they're matching. You match 10 answers with 10 words, right? So, it's like 117 questions or something like that, or 109, something around there. And most of them are multiple choice, which is nice. But CIC for AAPC, which is the first like 25 questions are multiple choice. And then the rest, 68 or so, something like that, are all fill in the blank where you got to fill in the answers. And they're like 7 cases, but the 7 cases have 15 answers each. So it's a hospital record. You'll do lots of procedures with modifiers per patient chart, and then you'll do all the diagnoses. They might have 9 diagnoses, 6 procedures with the hospital, inpatient, admit, and discharge, and then like echoes and stuff. So a fill in the blank test is rough, but you get 2 attempts. But CCS is multiple choice, which you could do process of elimination, look for similarities, that kind of stuff. So, you passed because of me and got a 90% rock star right there. That is awesome. I hope you got the special certification with your 90%. I hope it was the first time you ever took the exam and you ended up in that mega, whatever it is, Greek letters at the end of your certification? This one is C. Your correct answer. Finally got that out. Here's your answers. No, unfortunately, it was my third attempt. That's okay. That's okay. It's still pretty cool. That's really awesome. That's really awesome. Um, Fantastic score. Absolutely. All right, guys. Here's your next one. Food is broken down and turned into what? I know I probably got too many yellow ones. They look like what is the Blaze? Those New York's good too for $8.99. Go back to teaching. All right, what do you guys think on this one? Speaking of food, my oldest was just grilling some filet mignon and just handed me a piece of it, and I just chewed it up. It is so good. Ooh, they had it on sale for $8.99 a pound or something with the New York strips this week at Safeway. So I grabbed a couple. We like a high protein diet here with our greens. The answer to this one is not C. Try again. You'd think it was, but it's close to that, but it's not C. There you go, guys. There you go. It is B. It is our glucose. It is broken down into glucose. B is the answer for this one. Whoops. Put that right here. There we go. Do you know where I get more practice exams? I already did A, B, and C. Yes, my website is the cheapest place on the internet for practice exams. You get D, E, and F for $74.99 if you purchase them on my website. Just be sure when you place the order on my website to give me your AAPC membership ID number so that when I call AAPC, my rep, and ask George to make me up an invoice for you that I can pay on your behalf to add exams D, E, and F to your AAPC account. I have that membership ID number because I need that. And what happens is I just transfer the money over to AAPC. I send them your name, your membership ID number. George makes me up an invoice, and then I put it on my credit card, is all I do. So if you want to purchase it from me and use my little bit of a teacher discount that I get, you could do that. And it's on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com. It's under the More header, and it says AAPC products. The digestive system and urology is one of the hardest areas for the certification exam. So knowing what's going on, especially in these 50,000 codes, is really helpful. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? $74 for exams D, E, and F, and they are harder than A, B, and C, and more like what you will really see on the certification exam. I really like D, E, and F. I don't even sell A, B, and C because I don't like that I think they're just a little too easy compared to the exam.
Gonzalez has become a member.
Hey Gonzalez, thank you so much for becoming a member of the YouTube channel membership. With that membership, you will have access to all of my podcast, my workshop replays, the duck class replays, um, all of the TikTok live book prep videos, all that stuff opens up to you. So I hope that is super helpful for you. This one is not B as in boy. It is not B. What's our differences? 517. If you guys are planning on taking a certification exam in 2026, but you have 2025 books, I do have a document that will turn your 2025 book into a 2026 if you need it. I have no idea what's going to be on the 2026 exam yet until somebody starts taking it in January, but I have that document ready in case we need it. 517 25 26 27 and 28. If you know what's inside the 26, which is a new mama, compared to the 25, that will make knowing what's going on inside the 27 and the 28 and the 29 a lot easier, right? We are billing for a complex. So that automatically gets rid of A because A is not a complex. It is a simple, right? That's your first thing you look for. And then our 26 is just the gram, right? If we add the pressure, then that's the 27. And then if we add the voiding capabilities, then we're the 28. And then if we do the pressure and the voiding and one more profile, we'll be a 29. You take yours in January and missed it by 1 point. Let's see. So let's go to my website, Medical Coding by Jen. Take it off of desktop mode. turn it into the Android mode. Just go to the menu and you're looking for documents. So let me get rid of the YouTube video. So if you're looking for AAPC products, it's right there. That's where the practice exam questions are. So right there's the study guide. If you want me to mail you the study guide at a $50 discount compared to what it is on AAPC's website or on Amazon. And then right here is if you want to purchase exam questions D, E, and F for $74.99. And then if you want the document to turn your 2025 into a 2026, just go to notes right there. And your first one right here under the CPT notes is the out of code sequences. If you want me to tell you what page numbers all of the hashtag codes are at, right? The red codes, I've got that document ready for 2026. And then the very next document is the one that turns a 2025 AMA CPT book into a 2026 book. You get a copy of my handwritten notes that I wrote into a 2025 book, turning it into a 2026, only on the pages that need updated new codes. Like there's only 2 new codes in E&M and 2 codes that we deleted. There's nothing in anesthesia. I think integumentary had 1 code that we added, so it's not a lot until you get to cardiology. Cardiology had like 15 new codes. But this will help you add those in there. And then we're working on the 2026 E&M notes for right now too. Don't forget also this Friday, I have the duck class, which if you join in, you're going to get access to a Zoom meeting with me where we can have a conversation if you need to. But what I'm going to do is, this is my duck class. It's underneath tutoring. It's $6 this Friday. I'm going to send you like 3 questions to your computer. You're going to answer them just like we do today, but without chat room to influence you on what the answer is. You bring your own books and I'll send you those questions to your device and you'll answer them. Right? And then when everybody's done answering.
Good evening, Jen and chat. Hoping to take the exam in November. Crossed fingers emoji. Crossed fingers emoji. Crossed fingers emoji.
Great, Christy.
Jen. Smiling face with hearts emoji. Smiling face with hearts emoji.
Great, Christy. She's been a member for 9 months. Isn't that awesome? We will do the 3 questions in a little bundle, and then when everybody finishes and answers their questions, right, I'll go over the questions and what the answers are, and you can discuss about, if you had issues finding the answers, where would you find it, and all that kind of stuff. So super helpful. It will be this Friday at 11:30 Arizona time zone. It's 5 p.m. Arizona time zone here right now, so you can see what time zone it will be in your area. We will have access to the replay for 30 days. The answer for this one was C. What about this one? If we are going to do an I&D procedure, which answer would we have? I got one B so far. I have a D. We go over to our what can this page tell you, right? If you guys went to only this page, that is the index for the integumentary system. It has the blue headers for all of the numeral groups of procedures that you do, right? If we look at like answer C, 110, if we look at that group, 11042, it's under the header debridement, right? Is debridement what I did today? We're looking for I and D, right? So this page alone tells me C is out the door, right? I didn't do that today. Then the other thing that I can use this for is what's 101, right? 101, 80, that is under I and D, and so is this one and this one. So that tells me that I can go to page 83 where these codes start and check out my guidelines, if any, right before these codes, right? And then I can look at my differences. My 60, 61, and 80 are all right here. What are my differences? One is an abscess, and one is a cyst. What did I abscess? '80 says it's simple. And you do see the one word complicated here, so we can get rid of that. And then out of 60 and 61, 60 also says it is simple, so we know we're not that one. The only one that is complicated is going to be our B, right? And a lot of times you can eliminate answers or pick out a correct answer by not going to the individual codes, by only using the index in the front of that code section. By looking up the different codes, bundles grouped under the procedure headers will help a whole bunch in doing these exam questions. Here's your rationale. Let me get that out of the way. Be sure and let me know when you're going to take your certification exam. I know this is coming up a lot. Elena, thank you so much for the heart me's. And the roses. Girl has spent a large fortune on passing the certification exam. Not a small fortune, but a large fortune, bless her heart. We are going to pass this year. All right. What about our next one? Diagnosis codes, right? Where is the diagnosis code book? Ugh. Lord. These books. Pretty, thank you so much for the heart me's. What do you guys think? You can use your ICD-10 alphabetical index, right? If you know how to look up the word screening, right, in your alphabetical index. Let's see if I got this over enough where people on TikTok can see. Go to the word screening and then go to the word in the very front of your book for diabetes, and it tells you what the answer is. So you do not have to go to look up 4 different diagnosis codes and maybe get confused on what's going on. If you just go in your alphabetical index, which is the first of 4 indexes in the front of your book, right? You go to this one and you just turn to the word screening, and then you go down to diabetes. It says your answer is Z13.1, and then you don't have 3 other codes to look up and, you know, and get confused on or whatever. You can just go find what the answer is in the alphabetical index if you feel like it. But that would be answer A. Good job. Ooh, what about this one? This is the exact type of question that will be on your exam. They love, love, love to ask you which of the following is not of whatever. It could be any subject matter, but they love that verbiage. They're not going to ask you to look for a correct answer. They're going to ask you to look for an incorrect answer, which is crazy. I've got to figure out what I've done to YouTube for sure. But let me go on and send out 5 YouTube memberships free to 5 people that are in chat. I'm just clicking on there and hitting up my credit card to charge for 5 memberships, and YouTube picks out the winners. So whoever is in chat and or viewing and needs a free membership, that is super cool. We got Estella, Shauna, Tracy, Crafty, and Sherry. I hope those YouTube memberships help you guys out. I didn't realize you came on early tonight. Is it early? It's the same time, dear. Remember, Arizona does not fall forward or go backwards. I always stay at the same time. My part of Arizona does not do any time changes throughout the year. It's just always 4:30 here when I go live. Hopefully this time isn't too hard for you guys. I never know what time it is in your area because I can't keep up, but Arizona never changes. We just stay the same. And it is still just 4:30 for me, love. 6:30 instead of 6 o'clock instead of 7 o'clock when I probably used to come on. Yeah. Plus, I forgot to do the YouTube link early, so the YouTube link wasn't up all week. I had the one for TikTok up all week, but I forgot to do the one for YouTube. This one is not C, Jessica, Lindsay, not C. What do you guys think? I take my test in December. Am I able to use the 2025 manuals? Absolutely, Brittany, 100%. I prefer actually the 2024 HipPix book to be used for the current exam, but it's okay. I wish ours stayed the same in Georgia. Isn't it just such a hassle? It's awful. It messes up everything. Now I'm not the same time zone as California. So I live like in the tippy top corner of Arizona. If I want to go to the movies, 10 minutes down the road, it's Nevada, and that's where I go to the movies at, and their time zone is different from mine. And then if I want to go to the river, that's 10 minutes the other way. That's in California, and now their time zone is different. So half the year I have to remember movie times, or if I need to go to Vegas for something for Travis dermatology or something like that, then half the year I got to remember, oh yeah, areas that are right near me are a different time zone than right here at this house. This house is a different time zone than my city, even, which is crazy, insane. Just to do anything banking or whatever, my city has a different time zone than my house. It's awful. And then trying to do Zoom lessons with you guys and figure out what time it is for you guys compared to my time. It's just terrible. But yeah, I wish the whole country would stop none of this foolishness. It is D. Good job, Sabrina. Remember, we were looking for an incorrect answer. So that makes these questions a whole lot harder when you're looking for an incorrect answer. Ooh, modifiers. What do you guys think about this one? Oh, Yolanda, thank you so much.
Larry donated $1.99 through Super Chat.
Yay! Thank you so much for the super chat. Your support is awesome. That helps me pay for so much. from even just owning a website, like medicalcodingbyjen.com is like 900 a year. Having the Gmail account, they charge me another 650. It's crazy. And then, just every little thing, having a Word, Excel, a microphone, the cameras, all that stuff. And I buy all the books every year, the pens, and you name it. It's crazy what I spend a year. And your support is awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Gamero, try again. What do you guys think? Bluey, try again. If you are seeing a patient for their diabetes, right, and you're doing a routine refill of meds, but while they're there, they have a boil and you need to drain it because they're uncomfortable, right? You would bill your 99214 for your regular refill of diabetes meds, but you would add a 25 modifier to it when you added in your incision and drainage procedure, right? So if you're going to do an office procedure and an E&M visit, you're going to need that 25 modifier. Yes, the modifier indicates that the E&M service is unrelated to the procedure and warrants separate billing. Yep. What about this one? What is step 2 of an incision and drainage procedure? We just did the procedure codes. Remember the complicated and simple INDs? The 10060s, 61, and 80. We would need to know if it's simple or complicated, but without any documentation, I'm assuming it would be 60. You just bill the smallest and cheapest one of the INDs. Hey, Kanisha, how are you doing, sweetie? She's getting so good at medical coding. I know I need to send you guys a new exam for this week. I'll work on that as soon as we get done with this live. It's been a crazy day today. A reminder to the wise, it did not happen to me because I never go anywhere. I sit here every day, all day long. But if you ever end up with a ticket from, a traffic ticket of any sort, be sure to make arrangements or do something before the due date. Many states will allow you to turn a moving violation, which is like a speeding ticket, into a parking violation, which is a non moving violation, which does not garner any points against your driver's license, for free if you do an online driver's ed course. Usually those driver ed courses are anywhere from $60, $40, $20, somewhere around there. Everybody can charge whatever they want. Be sure to pick a vendor on your court website's website, right? They'll have a list of speeding or driving schools, online driving schools or whatever. And if you ever get a speeding ticket or anything like that, a moving violation, the court will automatically change it from a speeding ticket to a parking ticket, which will save you probably $500, right? It'll change it from like a $300 speeding ticket to a $90 parking ticket or something. If you'll just do that $20 driving school thing, and they'll allow you to do that once a year. And then also, do not pay your tickets late. If you don't have any money to pay for it, just let the court know ahead of time, right? Don't assume that you can pay it a day late and you'll be okay and it'll go away. I had a friend today who paid it a day late and assumed everything was cool. No, it's due the day it's due, right? That's why they have those speeding tickets and all that stuff written all over them. If you don't let the court know or something by that date and time, then they'll issue a warrant out for you, and that's no fun. So be sure, even if you paid it, if you paid it late, that doesn't get you out of that warrant. So be careful. People are so funny. You don't want to have to call Jen to come get you, right? What is step 2 of incision and drainage procedure? What is step 2? It is not packing. Ahima, what's up with Ahima? I thought on using ig books for the exam. Ooh. Let me know how that goes. Oh, Nicole. That's awesome. It's not a fail. No, 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 no. That was your attempt at, learning. That was just a learning thing today. Irrigation is not
Yolanda Larry has become a member.
step 2 in incision and drainage. Yolanda, thank you so much for joining the Medical Coding Club. With that membership, you get access to my book prep videos, my I even have a podcast, where I'm reading out the guidelines like the E&M page by page and telling you sentence by sentence what it means in layman's terms, what they're saying. The book prep videos, the workshop replays, those kind of things. It is not D, none of the above either. The second step in an incision and drainage is the incision itself. Step 1 is getting permission, right, from the patient, evaluating your patient, seeing, what, you got to do a head to toe an assessment of your patient and making sure that they can, go through with the procedure, right? So step 2 is the incision. I don't know why AAPC has this question. I think it's quite silly, but I knew it would trick everybody. I think it's more of like a medical assistant question more than a medical coding question because I don't know. But yes, assessing your patient is your first step. You do have to prepare your patient for the incision and drainage, set up the room and all that stuff. This just seems like it's a medical assistant question more than a coding question. But I guess if we're thinking from a coding point of view, I would think about getting an ABN because, of course, Medicare is not going to pay for an incision and drainage, and you might want to get an ABN signed. Is something more of what I would write the question geared towards. Hey, Go Kart, how's it going? Good to see you. I just logged in. Is this an example test? Yes, we are practicing exam questions. These are from the AAPC monthly magazine that they write. if you have an AAPC membership, you get 20 questions free a month, every month, inside your Insider View question magazine. You can get the magazine electronic, or you can get it mailed to you to your house. And they have 20 questions inside each magazine, over various subjects, and they come with multiple choice with um, you know um, and they go over different areas. So whatever they might write an article about, like bundling denials, they'll have a couple of questions about that. Here they're doing minor skin surgeries in the office, so they'll have some CPT or E&M questions in this area. So every little article that they write, they'll have a couple of questions from, and it'll end up totaling 20 questions with answers and rationale. They also did hemorrhoids too. So making sure that you get and have access to your 20 questions with answers and rationales that are free every single month, including the past 11 months, you have access to a year's worth of those questions. So 20 times 12 months is like 140 questions or whatever a year that you've got access to totally free if you have a paid AAPC membership. Sorry I'm late. New time has me off. Oh, no worries. No worries. Yep, it is 5:30 here in Arizona. My time doesn't change, but yours times does. Do you have to pay for the membership, or is it free? Or you just have to have an account? Um, I'm assuming it is it's a paid membership that you have to have. For this question, what is the maximum number of hours that Medicare will cover for initial diabetes self-management training during the first year? This one will have to be, the answer will be if you happen to have only the AAPC version of the HitPix. The answer to this question will be in their version of the HitPix in the back where they have 100, it's Appendix I, publications from CMS. That answer is in this section right here. Because I know Miss Samantha's going to be asking me, where would I find that answer? It's going to be back there. Going to be back there. Leslie says you have to pay for the membership to get access to those questions. Girl, I don't know what page, but there's 100 pages of references back here. And that's the fun part. You get to find it. It's back here somewhere. I don't know what page number. If you get an electronic version of this ebook, you can do a word search in Vitasource and try to find it that way. It's still hard. It's still hard even with a word search. I have a couple of things marked. I know what page number our provider edits are for our Macs. Like 01 means general practice, 08 means family practice, 97 means physician assistant. Another page that I have marked is that NCDs do not, if they do not determine the coverage, who else do you look for? You know, who else if you don't have an NCD notice? I got that one marked. And then what else do I have marked in here? Some of these things are so hard to find because it's just like a hodgepodge of 100 little articles of different things, but they don't have a rhyme or reason as far as I can tell. I haven't spent a whole lot of information, a whole lot of time in here digging around, but I'd have. There's a couple of other ones that I have marked in here. I'm just not sure, remember what they were off the top of my head, but yeah, that's the hard part is going through this Appendix I and figuring out what page number it's on. So the maximum number of hours that Medicare will cover for initial diabetes self-management training would be so it is 2 hours difference and not 3. Yep. Gee Willie. Yep, it is. For half a year, it will be. Yep. It will be only 2 hours difference. Isn't that cool? Thanks for the new follows. So glad you're here. Miss Jen, your boot camp on your page, they are 2 different boot camps. Same material. Not the same material, just 2 of them with different questions, right? One of them's 8 hours long, one of them is 7 hours long. The one that I did in October, I added more E&M questions. Cut down on some of the business of medicine questions that I had, added more E&M questions, and then swapped out all the integumentary, muscle, cardiovascular, swapped out the questions. But they're both a mini course, right? Where I go through each section from the business of medicine all the way through hip picks, right? ICD-10, hip picks, medicine, cardiovascular, lab and path, all that stuff. Tell you my predictions of what I think will show up on your exam, what codes will give you issues in that section, right? Which descriptors are written kind of weird, or which ones might have a guideline that's weird, or a parenthetical that's somewhere else. Because believe it or not, some parentheticals are not directly under the codes that they affect. They're hidden in a different code's parenthetical, which is crazy. But we go through section by section, and then we work up and do some practice questions in that area. There might be a couple of questions that are some of the same because I like that question, or it's vital because I know it's going to be something that you'll see likely on the certification exam. But all of the questions in general have been swapped out for new ones. And then I extended the E&M just a little bit more. I think on the one that's the 8-hour long one, the one from October. But just people were like, that was in July. Is it still okay? Is it still good? And then they wanted me to redo it, so I just redid it. But it didn't need to be redone. The exam hasn't changed, and there's nothing to update. I just swapped out some of the questions and redid it. This question is our 10. Queen, I hope that answers your question. If you look up code G0108, you see a publication on the bottom of. No way, Bluey. Girl, that might be a new way that I can help people find those stupid things is, oh, you're saying go to the code that's for that particular thing, and then it tells you what the publication is, which you could go to the back of the book and find. Girl, you're going to teach me something one of these days. It does. Oh, you're so smart. Fantastic. See, you guys are worth your weight in gold. That is awesome. So to find that answer, which I've been struggling with for, 6 years now, is, oh, it's back here, but I don't know how to tell you where it's at. Bluey found out. Duh. Go to the HitPix code that is the billing code for diabetes outpatient self-management training, right? And down below, it'll tell us to go to chapter 15, 300, blah, blah, blah. If you follow those numbers in the back of this book, it will lead you to the correct one because they are 100 dash and then a chapter. You could find it that way. Absolutely. Oh, Louie, girl. You know, I've taken 10 courses through AAPC and they've never said anything about that with hip picks. And I don't, never bill a patient for anything. So, all right, we're going to go 100 2. So I'm in the 104s. So let's go to 102s. So I don't play around in any of this mess. I have avoided knowing how to bill patients on purpose. I've avoided ever even wanting to learn anything in this area because it's something I think healthcare should be free for all. I don't think we should be withholding services because we need payment when we're dealing with freaking healthcare. What the hell is wrong with people? There it is. It's on page 669. Bluey, you are a godsend. Thank you so much. So if you're in the 2025 Hip Picks book, your Hip Picks code for that diabetes training is G0108. And then I just followed that 100-2, chapter 15, 300.3. Found our answer top of the second column where it says we cannot exceed 10 hours. Right there. All right, when you teach the teacher something, you get something in return, Missy. You're awesome. Very cool. It's cool. All right, Miss Bluey, you got to hit me up in my DMs and whatever section of my notes you want, I will make sure that we find a way to send them to you. It's kind of hard because my notes are so big that they don't send through the email. You have to instantly download them from my website to your device. So nothing is ever sent through the email, like attached a file, because they're so big. But if there's a section of my notes that you want, you've earned it. You taught me something today. So that's awesome. Very cool. And we're going to put this right here on this practice question 2025 hip picks 669 each number. But we'll find a way somehow or another to get it to you or something. All right, next question, guys, is just true or false. You're welcome. Thank you for showing me how to do that. That's awesome. I love that. I love learning something new. Yeah, if your Hip Picks book is not AAPC's version, then you would not have it. AAPC's version of their Hip Picks book is almost 900 pages long. Do you know if the exam is going to use fill in the blanks? Nope, I do not. Queenie says it was on page 718. So did Lydia. Ooh, I like the way you spell your name. Or your mama and daddy did. All right, guys. What about stage 3, T1D? Anybody know what that is? It's very cool. Yeah, Optim's version is a very small, skinny version for sure. Yeah. I've been dealing with that stupid issue forever. 6 years. I just get stuck in my ways. You know how you get stuck in a way and you can't see the forest, you know, for all the green that's around you, right? You need another pair of eyes to show you something sometimes. So that's awesome. All right. Anybody know what a T1D stands for? Do you have 1-day exam prep courses? Yes, I do. I have 2 of them. But technically, I have, let's see. If you go to medicalcodingbyjen.com, go to the menu page, and you go to the drop down menu that says video replays right there. I have 2 boot camps, one from October, one from July. The one from October is 8 hours long. The one from July is 7 hours long. They are both helping people pass their certification exam after watching it. Watch it today, pass tomorrow, kind of like things. I can also recommend the third video down, which is an E&M workshop, which is 5 hours of nothing but E&M. Like if you want to go from what is a new patient and what is an established patient to knowing how to use the E&M worksheet that's on page 10 in your book, and if you're not told what the overall MDM is and you have to do it just off the problem list, your data, and your risk level, and you have to make your own MDM, I teach you all how to do that in that 5-hour workshop right there, too. The other ones that I have is I have a risk adjustment workshop, which is, I think, 4 hours where we do 100 questions for the risk adjustment certification. And then I have one for a medical auditor workshop. It shows you how to do the cases at the end of the exam. The first part of the exam is about 35 questions that are just multiple choice, right? About the rules and regulations and laws. And then the last part of the exam, which is about 65 questions, is patient charts, and you have to audit them, what was billed and then what was documented, to see if it was correct. And they usually have 4 or 3 questions per case. This workshop goes over how do you pass with that many cases in your certification exam, right? So super helpful. I built that for another instructor. She was already a CPCI and could not pass the CPMA. Had tried several times, asked me to make a workshop for her, and that's her replay. So I still have access to the E&M workshop. Yep. Where do I go? I don't know. If you bought it, Clara, and you got the link to join it that day that it went live, that's the same link for the replay. And if you buy it as a replay, you download a PDF And on that PDF is a typed out URL. You just type in that URL, and that takes you to the YouTube video and gives you access. If you have the YouTube URL, then you have access. This one is true. Also, you guys, you can go to your history in your browser, and whatever day you last went to that website, you can look at your history on that day and click on the link to go right back to any video or any website that you already attended or did on any given day. Ah, see, they're both $40, Sabrina. That's what happened. I just assumed and went to the one that was $40 and hit resend. Yeah. Okay. Just resent it again for you, dear. I should make things, everything should be a different price, so I'm not assuming. Yeah. All right, and you did integumentary too. And muscular skeletal. That section took me 4 months to highlight and make notes on. It's such a big section. Bless your heart. Muscles and integumentary, two huge sections. Oh my God. I know you're tired of looking at my notes. Good evening, everybody. I just wanted to thank you for all your hard work and dedication. I took my test Friday on Halloween, and thanks to God, I passed with an 84. Rotunda, oh, yay. Goldsberry, she passed. That's 3 today in this live who popped in to say they passed. I seriously, Bluey Mom, wouldn't I seriously wouldn't have found it without you because, aw, the alphabetical index to find the code for that. Ah, neat. It mentions and indicates there's a timeline. That is so cool. I just, never put two and two together in the hit picks. But there's only 3 questions on the exam that are in hit picks, so I don't play around in that book at all. I found our anesthesia or our ambulance modifier thing where you got to make your own modifier, by using 2 digits and you make your own modifier, which is crazy enough to learn. And I'm all proud about that because I've never seen any other teacher teach that. But other than that, I really don't play around in the hit picks book. I always miss your lives. I'm so sorry, Queen. Arizona time zone now is different because I think the rest of the world moved around a bit. But right now it is 5:50 here in Arizona. I like to go live at 4:30 on Mondays. And as soon as I finish book prepping for 2026 and football season is over with, we'll be going back to doing more lives like on Wednesdays and Fridays. This one is answer B. Did everybody get that one right? Yeah, it's just asking you if a patient has stage 1, D1D, how do you report the diagnosis code? Would it be A0, A1, A2, or would it be a symptom, an R code? You got to know what the acronym T1D stands for, which is stage 1, type 1 diabetes. When you look that up in your alphabetical index, right, it tells you your answer is B. What about this one? This one, TikTok may not be able to see all of it. I hope you guys can. How should hospitals report patients' limited access to clean water at home due to the inability to pay their water bill? The lack of water in their home is not the primary reason for their visit, but it's just one of those added things. Let me move my little girl out of the way. Go. So 4:30 will be 6:30 my time. Got it. It's better than 7:30, right, go kart? So tomorrow our class will be at a different time, right? Our 11:30 class time. We're going to go over urology. Look at Kanisha go. Yes, ma'am. It is C. Good job. Perfect. What about this 12-year-old? I'm taking my exam. Can we use Wi-Fi or does it have to be hardwired? Jill, I'm not sure, hun. You need to go to AAPC's website. Go to taking my certification exam. They have a testing area on their website that will test your computer and your internet connection to see if it's good enough for the certification exam. It will tell you, it will test your device as like a, um, you don't even have to have your exam scheduled, right? You can just go see if it is, because I'm not a wizard. I have no idea. I use Wi Fi and have used Wi Fi for all my exams, but I have fiber optics and I have a backup cable Wi Fi. So I pay for two internet providers at this house, but I've worked from home since 2013 and inadvertently, people run into telephone poles, there's a flood, there's wind, there's something that happens to one company's Wi-Fi that goes down. So it took me a while, but I had to convince or not let another company know that I had another internet provider already at this house. So they would allow me to have two internet providers. It is crazy how, okay, I have money here, take my money, but then they won't sign me up for two different internet providers at the same location. What? Why can't I give you money here? I don't know. But eventually I ended up with cable, Wi Fi, and then fiber optics with another company, Wi Fi. I've used Wi Fi internet for my certification exams, and it worked just fine. But, you know, I don't know. If your signal is not enough hertz, it won't work. So I always just be sure and go to that AAPC website. It's free. You don't even have to be signed on as a membership or anything. And they will test your computer and your Wi Fi strength and see if it's strong enough. Indeed, A is correct. You guys are getting these right. Good job. What about this one about excisions or destructions? I wish I could do CPB test. You're so patient with teaching. Oh, that's awesome. I have the CPB course. I just got to go do it. It's been sitting in my Blackboard for probably 6 months. I was supposed to do it before the 2026 books came out. And of course, I procrastinated. Didn't do none of it. Good job. Good job. Total length. Total length. Perfect. What about this one? I don't know if I've ever seen this question before. I love the way they write this question. Which of the following symptoms is not? Again, you're looking for an incorrect answer. They love those types of questions for the certification exam. Aw. No, 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 no. Got to have a positive outlook. You've got to trick your brain. Your brain will believe you and you can really manifest it. Just you're passing. And this is the date that you're passing. There is no maybe going to fail or none of that stuff. This is the day you're passing. South Central, are you taking the exam in the 2025 year, the next 2 months? Fingers and toes crossed. This would be an anatomy question. Um, Something in your, if you happen to have the AAPC version of the ICD-10 book, right before you code any section of the ICD-10 book, they have a great anatomy section, right? That goes over not only your guidelines, but the body part and how it's set up and what's all involved in it, and then common diseases of that area, right? So, depending on which AAP or which ICD-10 book you have, you may not have that. If you're taking an AAPC certification and you don't use their manuals, you're kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage. It's not that big of a deal, but I mean, they write the exam that you're taking. You should get the books that they are selling just because they're the ones writing the certification exam. They have decision trees that they add into even the guidelines to help you guys out with picking correct answers. And some of their questions are based off of those decision trees. This one is not D. It is not D. You're looking for an incorrect answer. Incorrect answer. Remember, you're looking for an incorrect answer. I graduated in 2024. How do I go about getting 2026 book? Google shopping, Amazon, AAPC website, anywhere that you can find it to be sent to you the cheapest with free shipping. Just shop, go shopping. Look on the internet, use Google shopping, is what I do. You can make some alerts happen on Google shopping. When the price falls below a certain price, it'll alert you. I like the store that's online called Book Run, eBay, McCary, anywhere I can find one that's cheaper and will send it to me with free shipping. This one is A, hyperthermia. Yes. Welcome, Brittany. Thank you so much for joining the YouTube club.
Brittany Johnson has become a member.
I hope this helps out a whole bunch, having access to all the book prep videos. All the podcast, me reading out all the guidelines, the replays of the workshops, all that stuff. I hope it helps out a whole bunch. Right? They are all indicated. I know, Mike. Aren't they crazy? Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you have two answers that are correct also. Which one is most correct? Those are the ones that I struggle with the most because I can't see any difference between two correct answers. One being more correct isn't something that registers in my head. Those are the worst. Thanks, Go Kart, for sharing the live. Thank you for the 8,000 taps. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all done met the goal too. Wow. What do you guys think here? Two of the answers are CPT codes and two of the answers are diagnosis codes. What in the world are they asking us to do here? Indeed, our answer is A. If it's a diagnosis that they're asking us for, we only have two to pick from. If you avoid your nines, like I tell you guys to do, then you know your answer's A. If you're doing the process of elimination for that one without looking anything up. We move her out of the way. That's not helpful either. Maybe that. Which of the following should be counted towards the total time of therapy? What do you guys think? The problem. Thanks for the follow. Love your name. Indeed, C is correct. Perfect. Good job, guys. What about this nerve ablation? What is our answer for this one? So, friends asking how to know if something is bundled. Let's see if I can find an example of what I'm talking about. A lot of times in your coding book, they will have in the front of your book of every single section, right before you code it, right, you get a list of all the procedures. If there is a guideline, you need to know about it. You'll be alerted with that tiny little star, right? So the only ones here in the respiratory system that have a star is your endoscopies. And this question happened to be about endoscopies. So if we go to that page number 210, we do go there, you will see your guidelines, right? And in general, this is where it will tell you what's all included inside this particular procedure set. Now, sometimes, now it'll always have that star there, but sometimes when you come here, it's not like a full set of words. Sometimes it's just like a tiny little sentence. Let me see if I can find one real quick. I know the digestive system's bad about that. But instead of a whole set of guidelines. But like this right here is what I'm talking about. Right before the code, there's just a couple of sentences. And this is where you'll find out what's included in all of the codes that are underneath this destruction, right? And sometimes it won't end really there, but it'll be for days. But it's usually just a few little sentences. But that's where you find out what's included. And then other things that you can purchase too, because you know the these descriptions of these CPT codes are not the full description of the CPT code. They just put in an abbreviated version, right? They release a book every year, not on every single code in one whole book, which I wish they would do. But when they issue new CPT codes, that's what all these lovely little green and blue craziness is, right? they will issue out a baby descriptor, which we get here, right? And then there'll be a full description that they'll issue in these books that you have to buy every year when they do an update. There's not one book with all full of the descriptors. When they do changes and they do update or add a new code in, they'll give you a clinical example of what the code will look like. They'll give you a full description of the code description, along with preoperative services and postoperative services. And then they'll also give you rationale that will go with the code description. So if you ever wanted to know what the full description and what was included, technically you need another book for that, which are these things, right? So, more crap to buy, but you don't need all that for your certification exam. Certification exam is only testing you to see if you know how to use these books and the way they are printed and presented right in front of you right now, right? You're only responsible for what's right here in these books. So don't worry about all that mess, but back to this question. If I use this page, which I like to do my CPT code questions like from this page, right? If I look at answer 1A, which is 30117, 30117 would be right here under nose excisions. Is that what I did today? I did a nerve ablation. Is that where a nerve ablation would be? If I look at answer C and D, which are 308s, those are under here, which are under destructions. So if I go to 308.01, which are on page 209, these are both ablations, right? Do these ablations include a scope? Because this question says we did a endoscope ablations. Nope. So if I've eliminated C and D and A, what is our 30999? That is our unspecified procedure, right? Because we have a procedure that is not classified anywhere else in this CPT book, right? I don't have a scope that also does ablation. Just because a procedure partially covers what we did doesn't mean we can code it. It has to code and pay for everything that we did. And having that scope be involved in there is what we needed. Your endoscopies do not start until over here at 31231, and none of these are just for nasal. As far as, because they go up into the sinuses, we're only doing a nasal nerve. And it's just one of those unique procedures. And I bet that particular example is probably noted in the front of your book if you had read the beginning of this book where they talk about how to use the book, right? These pages that say the instructions for how to use the book, if you look at what guidelines are, what add-on codes are, what modifiers are with all their examples, then they talk about unlisted procedures. They have some examples, right, of unlisted procedures. I bet that nasal thing is right in here somewhere. They've got a 39599. I don't know. I have to look around and see if it's here. But when to use an unlisted procedure in these instructions is really helpful. And I find examples of these questions on the certification exam. Even the ones from how to use modifiers, how to use add-on codes, they all have little coding examples inside here. These are where they get a lot of their exam questions. Another area that they like to use, of course, is, where were we at? So anywhere around here, and it might be on this page somewhere. Look. No, they don't have one. No coding tips in respiratory at all. That's crazy. But in the CPT book, if there is a coding tip area, anything that says that right there, coding tip, that is where they're getting practice exam questions or real exam questions from the certification exam too. Is stuff like that. Anytime it says coding tip, those are question areas for the certification exam. That one is B. I hope this helps. Hey, Savage, thanks for the follow. Lauren, thanks for sharing the live. You guys are awesome. The names of that book that I was showing you about, right? They're right there marked underneath the CPT codes. Some of them are called the CPT changes. Some of them are called CPT assistant. There's 3 different books and you have to get them per year. And some of them are called the CPT assistant. Yeah, CPC changes, CPT. There's 3 of them, 3 different versions of them. Drives me nuts. And clinical examples of radiology. They have their own book, the radiology one. But CPT assistant and CPT changes. The changes are the ones that come out every year with the full description. Do you know any free medical online courses? I do. Let's see. see if I can show it off real quick. Mm. So if you go to my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com, go here to the free resources tab, click on the FAQ area right there. Third sentence down is where is the best list of free resources. Come here and we will find this link right here, which is CMS free classes. And that will take us here to the free cms.gov website for MLN web-based training. And like right here, they have a diagnosis code certification class that you can take. Just click on it and I can click right here. You've got introduction, lesson 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you take a test at the end. And if you do pass, and you got unlimited exam attempts, so you can redo it as many times as you want. You'll end up with a certification with CMS's letterhead on it, right, in your name that says you took that course and you passed it. My recommendations is to always do the course on fraud and abuse, because this is where my employer used to send me for fraud and abuse training. Anybody that's going to hire anybody has to send them for fraud and abuse training and have annual recertification in that before they can allow you to have access to a patient's chart. So there are 2 classes here on fraud and abuse. Take them both, add them to your resume as you're applying for jobs. That way HR knows that they don't have to send you for paid training. You've already had that done and they can put you right to work. Really helpful. Get those done and over with. Again, totally free, unlimited exam attempts. Don't forget to check out my website here at the main link. This pink button right here on my website, it says join Pocket Prep 750 practice exam questions. Be sure to click on that link right there. I do get like $5 every time you guys click on it, and actually go to the word medical and then click the top link that says AAPC, CPC, and you can get access to 750 practice exam questions with page numbers of where the answers are. Love it, love it, love it. They do have them all in all 18 areas of the certification exam, including cases. There are 75 practice exam questions on cases. They do have a pass guarantee. If you purchase 3 months for $40, right, it's just $39. If you purchase that and don't pass, you'll get it again for 3 more months for free. And like I said, they send me $5 of that, so super handy dandy. This is great because you can have it on your cell phone or you can do it on a desktop. It'll send you, and they're exactly like what's on AAPC certification exam. They're multiple choice, and it'll keep track of how well you're doing, and you can gauge your response. You can build an exam, like if you only want to do just E&M or you only want to do cardiovascular. You can time yourself. You don't have to time yourself. You can build a full real mock exam, or you can just do one question per day. Super handy, handy, love it. And I do go through these questions. If I find any errors, I contact them and make them fix the questions. Um, Pocket Prep's great. I've been using them forever. In fact, if I sign in, you'll see my account is paid up for a year. I buy a year at a time, and that way I get it for $7.99 a month. So you can also try 30 questions for total free right there. So super cool. Love it. Love Pocket Prep. And if you use my link, they do know that I sent you, and they do send me some money to help out, pay for the websites and stuff. If you want to know what pens do I use, all that kind of stuff, you can click on my Amazon link tree right here, and that's the other pink pill that's up above. This will send you to where all the books are, or what pens, highlighters. Loving these highlighters. If you are a left-handed person and you're trying to highlight books, these highlighters are great because you can see through what you're highlighting, right? They have a little window in them, and you can see what you're highlighting, and that way you don't go too far or something. So they're really great for even left-handers and stuff. Love them, love them. Um, Everything that's on here is literally on this desk right now, from the cat fountains to the neurogum to the prenatal vitamins to keep my old hair in my head, to the pens that I use. Everything is what I use. How I made my lazy Susan to hold my books is also here. What I use to keep the books from unraveling is here. Um, Everything. My chair that I use. I used these camping desk is what I used, because you could make it short to where you sit, and then you could make it tall if you wanted to stand. I used this for, I know, 3 years before I got a real motorized desk. I've got this one now, that's motorized, but you can do this on an ironing board table. It don't matter, but um, everything that I use, this is the actual camera that I do use for my certification exams. Because I extended out 5 feet away from my desk, and literally this is the one that I use, the $19 one. So if y'all need anything that I have on my desk, here's the Lazy Susans and the book stands that I put together with that Velcro and make my Lazy Susan. And then, yep, I even like these Da Vinci pens, or work really great too. You get 100 of them for $20. Love them. These are great. Plus, you get all those different colors. There's so many colors when you have 100 of them. So I love it. Plus free shipping, and it's only $18.47 actually for 100 of them, and you get a ton of different colors. So love it. But anyway, that's what's going on my website right there. Don't forget about the free resources. I've got additional educators listed here, right? If you need a list of other people, if I'm not your cup of tea, there's a whole list of those right here. There's course options too. If you want to add me as your instructor, you can do that, or you can buy a full course with books and all, and pocket prep, or no, Practicode to go along with it, so that you end up with your full apprenticeship taken away by the end. You can even buy the course cheaper than you can get it on AAPC's website, without teacher instructions and no manuals if you want it, or you can get it with manuals. Totally up to you guys. Don't forget about the tutoring page, is where you find our $6 class for this Friday. If you want to join in on a Zoom lesson and do practice exam questions without the answers being in chat, you will actually be sent an exam to your computer, and then you'll try to answer it. And then I'll give you 2 minutes per question, and then we'll go over the answers. Super cool. membership plan areas for CRC, Practicode, or for just practice questions are there. And then if you need any of my notes, video replays, or anything like that, they're all listed in all of these other things. Don't forget, I can get you AAPC's practice exam questions D, E, and F a little bit cheaper than what you can get them from AAPC. I just need your membership ID, and then I'll pay for you to get those added to your AAPC account. If you're looking for a study guide from AAPC, it's $50 cheaper with me if you want a paper book sent to you. All my video replays, like the boot camps or the E&M workshop or the CRC workshop or the CPMA workshop, are all listed there under the video replays. So I hope that helps out. All right, what do we get for this question? Thanks, Go Kart. Yes, everything, all my workshops come with CEUs now. If you need the regular workshops for the for like where we do 100 questions or 75 questions in 3 hours, those come with 1 CEU. If you do a boot camp, those come with 6 CEUs. So just make sure you already have passed your CPC. And if you need CEUs, I have those too. Not at a discount. I didn't negotiate that when I bought the license or something because it was going to be another $1,000 for me to buy that. So I didn't get it, but I can help you with all 600 cases with my $8 membership. So you can check and see if you've got the correct answer before you hit submit on any of your Practicode. But Practicode, I think, is like $250. Yeah, I did not get that with my license. My renewal is in March. I might think about it, but I don't know. We'll see. If you need to turn your 2025 book into a 2026, in my CPT notes on my website, I have a document that will turn your 2025 book into a 2026 if you need to take an exam in 2026. But I don't know what's going to be on the exam yet. No one's taken the 2026 exam yet. So I don't know if it's needed yet. So, but I'm prepared if it is. So I've already turned a 2025 book into a 2026, and I'm ready if we need it, but I don't know. But I have a document, so don't worry about it. You can still use your 2025 book until way later. What do you guys think is the answer? What about TikTok? Indeed, C is the correct answer for that one. Perfect. Good job. What about this one? Do you know this acronym? What would be the answer for this one? Emerald, try again. What's the Amanda, try again. What's the thing that all the women are going to go get? Try again, Mimi. Try again, Stacy. Try again, Queenie. Amanda, try again. Emerald, try again. So if we're dealing with retrograde criscopharyngeus dysfunction, we're going to put botulism into our face, right? We're going to put Botox in our body, which is crazy, right? I don't even like the name botulism, and thinking about doing that to your face, I'll take my wrinkles. Thank you very much. Ming it too. I know. They can have at it. Y'all can all go put the botulism in your face. I will put that money in my Roth IRA and be retired with my toes in the sand. Thank you very much. I mean, I'm already 54 and retired, right? But no nails, right? My nails don't look bad. They're just natural, right? Um, Always have been. I don't spend the money on decorating myself. I just put it all in my Roth IRA and squirreled it away. So I'm not working till I'm 70 years old, you know? Don't need to decorate. We need to multiply them pennies. What does a retrograde dysfunction of that muscle cause? What does it cause? I know, right? They're always finding new ways to take the money out of your hands. Don't fall for it. Don't spend any of it. Squirrel it away. Let it multiply. Invest in the 500 largest companies, mutual fund thingies that, you know, one big group fund that has 500 different companies in it. Even if one company fails, the rest of them aren't, you know, so it all just multiplies. The average return is like 32%. So I just take my paycheck, put it in this thingy, and I get a third of it, even more than what I had. It's insane. And another way I make money is I pay for everything with a credit card. Everything: light bill, utilities, water, grocery store, anything. Everything's paid on a credit card. But I pay it off every 2 weeks. 100% paid off. None of that leaving 30% on it. None of that. Because I'm not going to get charged an interest rate to have money on a credit card. I pay it off before I'm charged anything. But because I build all my bills on the credit card, I get 1, 2, or 3% back, cash back, cash back, cash back, all these little rewards, right? So I make money every month. Inability to belch was the answer. B. Off my credit cards just for paying my bills on them instead of using a debit card. I don't use debit for anything. I use somebody else's money to pay for everything. Ooh, and that is all the questions I had prepared for today. Isn't that cool? And then I use my rewards to either cash out and use as an extra income, or I use it to cover some of the bills. But never use a debit card. Always use a credit card and then pay it off every 2 weeks. I like that. What are the 4 C's of emptying a bladder? That one was a good one. That was a new one for today. I'm glad. I hope this helps. I'm going to see my students tomorrow. For those that have purchased the CPC course from me and are doing the course, we will be working tomorrow together because I do the course with you guys on our practical applications for the urology and male genitalia tomorrow. And hopefully doing those practical applications and the end of chapter exams together will help you get through the course tomorrow. And then for the rest of the week, I will be going live randomly on TikTok, and we will be doing 2026 book prep videos. So I hope this is super helpful. Bluey, hit me up with what you want. Thank you for teaching me something new today. I love it. Absolutely. That was great. Information. Never paid any attention to that stuff that's underneath there. You know, that's the second time that HipPix book has underestimated me. When I took my certification exam, I did not know, as a matter of fact, um, that the names of the medications are not listed next to the J codes, right? So if you go to any J codes, right, in this book, and you want to know, and you have a CPC exam question for one of these J codes, you're not going to find the answer J code and then directly across from it the name of the medication. The actual name that they're looking for is underneath it in these blue words. And I never looked underneath this Betos word. I just hyper fixated on the J code and then what it said. It did not look below for the Z word. So, of course, I couldn't find any of the codes that were saying this word because I was hyper fixated on that code. So, knowing how the book is set up, reading the instructions in the front of the book probably would have helped me a whole lot. I bet I haven't done that for the hip picks. But inside each one of these books, like the CPT, the ICD-10 book, and the hip picks, they have instructions and they show you how to use the book. They also explain how they set it up, why they set it up this way, and where you can find the information, including all the symbols and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I've never paid any attention to this book, but that is super cool that it does have the 100 indexes in the book showing you where their Medicare guideline is underneath here, which is very, very cool. Underneath your Medicare procedure code, they actually went on in the AAPC version and did give you the publication number and the law in the back of the book in Appendix I, which is very, very cool. That's awesome. I will go back to the boot camp. I am taking the exam on December. Awesome. You're going to do great. I hope this is super helpful. The replay will be available on YouTube right away. So everybody can just rewind and rewatch the videos or re-practice the exam questions if they need to. And I hope to see you in my next free live, which will be definitely on Monday. What day of the week is that? The 10th. And this month is going to be hard to have a workshop. Travis has cheer competition. We have to go out of town for the 20th through the 23rd. And then the next week is Thanksgiving weekend. I don't know when I'm going to have a workshop to practice exam questions with you guys, unless I did it this weekend, which would be the 9th. And I have tutoring Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday already scheduled this week. I don't know. I don't know if this month is going to have a workshop. So we may have to rely on the boot camps to see us through because this month is going to be tight um, with Travis' event we've got going on. So anyway, just to keep you guys informed on my life, I love you guys. I hope this was super helpful. Do I have any free time? I'm retired. I don't even work anymore, right? It seems like I'm busier now than I was when I was working, but I know it's not technically because I've left my kids on the side of the road, forgot to pick them up, or band camp, or who knows. I used to work the halls of the hospital. I'd get there before the sun came up and then not leave till the sun went way down at night and never even use the bathroom. I remember getting home and be like, I'm not gone to the bathroom. I gotta go pee. But it just feels like I'm super busy, but I'm not as busy as I used to be when I worked. But love you guys. I hope this was helpful. Email me multiple times, at least just once a day, if something is pending. If there's something I was supposed to do for you, or if you have a question, email me once a day so that I can eventually get to it, please. I'm not the best at getting to all the messages, and I absolutely cannot reach anything or answer anybody with all the Instagram, Messenger, TikTok, all that social media messages I get and comments. I can't keep up. But email me and once a day, and I'll eventually make sure I get to whoever it is and do my best to help you guys out. Twinkle and Go Kart, y'all send good vibes because they're mamas. I've been sick a little bit lately, so please send good vibes, and please send good vibes to my cousin Emily. Um, she adopted 3 daughters, and she is one of the furloughed educators for the federal government who is not getting paid for over a month. So we've got 2 sick mamas and a furloughed employee. So send positive thoughts their ways if you can, please. Love you guys. Hope this was helpful.